Hey YouTube, my name is Nick, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to change your soft-mounted dashboard from UnleashX to UIX Lite. This should work with all other dashboards as well, but UnleashX just happens to be the one that I have installed on my Skeleton Grey original Xbox. This dashboard usually comes pre-installed with Rocky 5's soft mod, but today I'm going to be showing you how to change this dashboard to the UIX Lite dashboard, which is a relatively new and modern original Xbox dashboard that is based on the stock Microsoft dashboard, but has certain patches that make it almost equivalent to having a soft-mounted dashboard. And so I'll just put a picture up on the screen to show how it compares to the original one right now. And you might be wondering, why would I want to do this change when UnleashX works perfectly fine? Well, the truth of the matter is, UnleashX actually isn't perfectly fine. Here are some use cases or scenarios where you might consider changing. So UnleashX has one pretty big problem with Insignia, and that's the fact that UnleashX has the DNS glitch, which basically changes the IP address of your Xbox in the original Xbox dashboard. And so when you try to play any Insignia-based games, it might not connect because UnleashX is automatically changing the IP address. And so a workaround is to set your IP address to manual. And so that does work, but one annoying thing is that if you have two routers in your home, like such as how I do, what can happen is if you plug your original Xbox to the other router for whatever reason, because let's say they're both within relatively close proximity and you have like two displays within relative distance of the two routers or some other setup, which is very specific, but let's say that you were in that case scenario. If you have your IP address set to static and you don't change the default gateway, then your original Xbox will not be able to connect, and it can just kind of be a pain, especially if you're changing setups, or you have different Ethernet cables going to different routers, and let's say you have two Xboxes that are close by. Well, doing this with UIX Lite should curb this problem, and it should fix the issue as well, because UIX Lite does not have the DNS glitch, and it should just automatically fix your settings without needing to change any of the static IP address information that you've entered. So without further ado, I'm going to continue on with this tutorial and explain how this all works. And the first thing you need to do is fire up your computer and launch your favorite FTP client so that you can send some files over to the original Xbox. And I'll show you what we need to do. So the first thing we need to do before we get on with this tutorial is we need to download some files. I'll leave these pages linked in the description, but the first thing we have to download is this Dash Loader Customizer. So you can just left click it, and then it should ask to save it somewhere. I'm just going to save it on my desktop, but I already downloaded it. So that's the first page. The next page we want to navigate to is the UIX Lite GitHub, which I'll also leave linked in the description. And you want to download just the UIX toolbox.xbe. So if you just left click it, it should ask to save. And then lastly, I'll also leave this linked in the description, but this will go into our udata folder because this will be where all the configuration files are stored for where our custom dashboard is pointing to, like the directory for it. So for this, you just click this download button, and it should ask you to save it as well. It's going to zip the files first as well because this is saved to Google Drive. Or if it doesn't ask, it'll just show up in your downloads probably. Yeah, so it does. So you just click save and then you're good. So once you have your files, I'm just going to ignore these for a sec. Once you have your files here, first thing you want to do, we'll just start with the zipped Dash Loader Customizer zip file. You want to right click and you want to extract to Dash Loader Customizer, and it should organize it all into this folder here, which should have all these things. We no longer need this. The next thing is the UIX toolbox.xbe. All you have to do is right click, make a new folder, and call it UIX toolbox just like this with the exact spelling, and just drag and drop the XBE into that folder. And I'm just going to delete this, but do not delete the XBE here because we're going to send this over. And then there's this folder with all the numbers that you have to download for your udata directory, which you don't need to do anything with. So now we have to configure our FTP client. For this video, I'm going to be using filezilla. But again, it doesn't matter which one you choose. So to set up filezilla, you need to click this little icon here, which opens the site manager. And we're going to start by creating a new site. And what you want to do now is you want to look over at your original Xbox, which should still be on. And it should be on the custom dashboard. And what you want to do is you want to enter your IP address here for the original Xbox. And you want to make sure it is port 21, username Xbox, password Xbox. And then we want to go to transfer settings. We want to set this to active. Limit the number of simultaneous connections to 1. And I believe that is all we need to do. And then you want to click connect and it should work. So eventually you should be able to see all your drive letters here, which are the different partitions on the Xbox hard drive. And now we'll start loading in everything we need. So first, we're going to go into the E directory. We want to go to applications. And all we want to do is we want to take our dash loader customizer and UIX toolbox files here, take them and drag them right here into this directory, and wait for that to finish. So once these two folders have finished copying to your original Xbox, what you want to do is you want to click these two dots and you want to go to UData. And then what you want to do is you want to copy this folder with all the numbers. You may or may not already have that folder. If you do, just overwrite it. So once this folder with all the numbers has finished copying to the UData directory, you can now close the FTP client and you can move on to your original Xbox, where we're going to continue and finish up this tutorial. So now that you're back on your original Xbox, the first thing you want to do is you want to go down to applications, and instead of pressing A, you want to press the start button and select refresh list, but do not enter the applications folder yet, because if you go in here, you'll see that one of our apps are missing, and that's UIX Toolbox. But despite that being missing, we can actually still launch it by scrolling all the way down here to System, and then File Explorer, and then we want to navigate to where it is. So we'll go to E, Applications, UIX Toolbox, and we want to press A to launch this XBE file. So it should pretty quickly load up the UIX Toolbox application, which looks kind of like the original Xbox dashboard. And the first thing we want to do is we want to select Manage UIX Lite, and then we want to select Update UIX Lite, despite the fact that we haven't installed it yet. And the first thing we're going to do is select Restore Original MS-5960, and we'll let that download. So you'll know it has finished downloading once it says installing with the 3 little dots. Eventually it should come up with this little text that says Install Complete. The next thing you want to do is select Install Latest Version. And now this is the actual part that is installing UIX Lite. Because UIX Lite, basically how it works is that it does some patching to the original Microsoft dashboard to give it some soft mod-like features that the original dashboard obviously didn't have. And similarly to when we downloaded the original MS-Dash, it'll say Install Complete. And this is completely optional, but if you use your original Xbox and you have it connected to your network, you can also install Discord Presence so that it will actually update Discord with what game you're playing on your original Xbox. But I have no interest in doing that, so I'm just going to back out of that. And now we're going to select Return to Dashboard. But as you'll quickly notice, you'll see that we're still on UnleashX. And that's because we are not done yet. There's still one final step we have to do. So all we have to do is we have to go to Applications, and we must launch Dash Loader Customizer. So the XBE should launch, and you should see this picture of an original Xbox S controller. And what you want to do is you want to move the D-pad down to select Set Custom Dash. So we're going to press A here. And what we want to do is you want to go to C drive and select our custom dash to Xbox Dash.xbe. And now if you press the Start key, it will ask if you would like to exit and save changes. Select Yes. And your Xbox will shut off. And when it relaunches, you should be met with UIX Lite. So you might be looking at this and you might be thinking, isn't this just the regular original Xbox dashboard? And yes, it kind of is, but it also is not. As you'll notice here, there's this 4th setting that says Launcher, and this is where you get access to all the extra soft-modded options. One thing that I'm going to quickly do that I would like to do, which I also forgot to do before I downloaded UIX Lite, I forgot to download the blue skin. because blue is my favorite color. So now if I return to the dashboard, you will now see that I have turned the MS Dash blue. Although, again, this is technically not really the MS Dash anymore. This is UIX Lite. So if you're looking at this and you're wondering, so how do I access FTP whenever I need to transfer some files over to my Xbox? Well, that's quite simple. All you have to do is go to Launcher, and then select Start UIX Toolbox, because as you have noticed, when you are accessing the UIX Toolbox menu, it starts an FTP server on your original Xbox, so you can just manage your files from your FTP client to move things around, delete things, send things over, etc. That's pretty much the end of this video. If you go here, you can obviously access your games, but I don't have any on this hard drive, so that's why it shows up blank. Because this console still has the stock hard drive in it, I didn't upgrade it on this unit yet. I might at some point, but for now I kind of just use this Xbox to play my disc copies of my games. One last thing before I end the video, one thing you want to do is you want to make sure you go to the settings and you go to your network settings. And you want to set your DNS servers back to manual. And then when you click connect, you want to make sure that it connects you to Insignia. So it should say Xbox Live is there, and well, in my case it's a blue dot, but it would be green if you kept it green, or whatever color you changed the skin to. And one really neat thing about UIX Lite as well is that you can make a custom skin for the dashboard. So I'm considering making some myself, but I kind of need to figure out how that all works. But as you can see here, when I go to the Xbox Live tab and I select my alt account from my memory unit, it works. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of this video. I hope you found this helpful or interesting. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time.